thing, the best startups are simple and easy to understand. Never wait for permission. Startups are about making it happen. No one is going to give you a job, you hire yourself. All right, so we all know now that startups are officially cool, that founders and co-founders are the new rock stars. But what is a job really like? How do you start one? But the first question you should ask yourself is, do you really want to start a company? The truth is, startups are really, really hard. It's not all free lunches, slides, and beanbag chairs. Some of the common reasons people launch a startup is they think it'll be glamorous, that you'll be the boss, offers you more flexibility, you'll make more money and have more impact. The ugly truth? Lots of stress, a huge responsibility. Everybody else ends up being your boss. You're a role model. You're always working. Expect 0 to 10% equity at liquidity. The best reasons to launch a startup? You can't not do it. You need to do it. And more importantly, the world needs you to do it. It's now easier at this moment in time to start a company than ever before in human history. The obstacles that were once there are falling. It's time to be masters of your own fate. Taking a quick look at this, yes, this is what's known as the trough of sorrow. Think of this as your happiness on startups. If you take a look at the beginning, it's all rainbows and unicorns. Everything feels fantastic. At the top of the curve, this is where your imagined startup, what you've dreamed up, comes into contact with real customers. Then as the curve turns downward, this is where the real work begins, as you figure out how to provide real value to your customers, which is a hard slog over a number of years. Then towards the back end of this chart, things start to get better if you can discover what's known as a product market fit, and then up you go. There are a number of persistent myths about entrepreneurs, founders, and co-founders, but how do you see through these myths to get to what the truth really is? As an entrepreneur, you become responsible for creating something new or novel. And this is in a future state, not the present state, as it will take you time to build a product. You need to be able to peel back the layers in your mind to find true human needs, what's known as a problem, before you create a business model to serve those needs, a solution. It's very tricky to see the world for what it is. If you want to be a founder or co-founder, you have to be able to look deep into the subtle causal relationships within society. To do this, you need to be able to remove your own personal bias, beliefs, and past experiences, as your own personal experience is not a statistical representation of the real world. This will allow you to get into the heads of your desired customers. So you're able to see the present moment for what it is and create a solution that truly solves a problem. If you don't remove them, you end up creating a product that works in your head, but not in the real world. But there is a cheat if you are a first-time founder. Build something that you yourself would use. That way you can bring personal experience as the first real customer. So what are some of these myths and truths? That startups are all created by 18-year-old genius soul inventors, in their garage, of course, which might lead you to think that you can't if you're not. Want to know the truth? The average age of the startup founder is late 20s in Silicon Valley and early 30s everywhere else. And startup teams tend to be 2 to 4 people. Why does this persist? Because outliers make great stories. We read and share these stories specifically because they're unique and we don't come across them very often in everyday life. They'll show up more often in the media because we click on the articles. And thus we end up seeing many media stories about 18-year-old soul genius inventors. But don't get fooled into thinking that they are the average. Here's another one you'll hear often, that your ideas as a first-time founder suck, or it's all about execution, which will lead you to believe that time spent working will solve any problem. Want to know the truth? You need both. You need great ideas and then great execution in shorter and shorter cycles, as it's in the cycles that the concepts get better and better. Because knowledge without action is useless, just as action without knowledge is dangerous. And I can tell you, it's extremely difficult to execute your way out of a bad business, and vice versa. A lot of this comes from the investing world, where they see hundreds, if not thousands, of good enough ideas every year. And they have seen numerous companies fail to execute on those ideas and go under. But it's really the wrong conversation. What they're really trying to say is success is important, i.e. grow the business. Quite explicitly, you do need contrarian ideas to create enough value to justify a startup. Like a lot of things in startup, it's about balance. The customer is always right, or you need to integrate any and all feedback from so-called experts, which can make you a little crazy and create an overly complex product or startup. Want to know the truth? It's your job to know what's right. That's what you get paid for, providing value to the customer. It's your job to create a product, one that customers didn't even know could exist. But once they see it, they couldn't imagine their lives without it. Customers are not subject matter experts. They have other things to do with their lives. This comes from a couple of places, but the first is customer service, where there's a little bit of truth. But when it comes to creating something new or novel, it can be detrimental to listen to only surface-level answers or complaints. As customers extrapolate from their past experience, i.e., I want a slightly better version of what I already have. You also have many people sharing their opinions on your startup and product. It's easy to get caught up in new advice and make tweaks to the product because of it, but it can become dangerous to constantly change your startup vision. You need to figure out how to listen to feedback and decide whether it should be included into the vision and what should be discarded. This also seeps in from customer development lean startup, although still the best tools out there for a startup, which you'll learn a little bit more about later on, they can be taken too literally. Just because you interview 50 people doesn't mean the top answer is true and you should do that. In the beginning, the best startups are simple and easy to understand. A few things I wish I knew when I first started. You are going to fail. If it's the first time you attempt to do something, it does happen, but only let it happen once. Measure the learning from failure and how you bounce back from it. Don't spend time writing a business plan, and please don't ever say we are going to capture 1% of $1 billion market. Spend time getting to know your customers. Get started. Write a blog. Build a social media presence. Sell a crappy version of your idea to 10 friends. Spend a lot of time getting the founding team right. This is the first 2 to 4 people. Take time to understand what skills and talents you will need. Get to know other people's strengths and weaknesses. It can take up to 2 years for a team to actually gel. You'll need to get ready to do it all yourself in the beginning. So get ready to do finance, sales, marketing, coding, design, operations, and of course, don't forget to sweep the steps as well. And once you've built all these models, be prepared to hand them off to other new hires. Never wait for permission. Startups are about making it happen. No one is going to give you a job. You hire yourself. Get your product out into the real world. Get ready for rejection and lots of it. If you do have a novel startup, you're going to hear no an awful lot. It's your job to climb over that fence or just walk around it. It's really hard to get new customers. It's more than a line on a business plan. You're going to have to talk to hundreds just to get a few. And make sure you treat them very well once you get them. Finally, I'm going to leave you with a little bit of startup wisdom. Do not feel absolutely certain of anything. Do not think it's worthwhile to proceed by concealing evidence, for evidence is sure to come to light. Never try to discourage thinking, for you're surely likely to succeed. When you meet with opposition, endeavor to overcome it by argument and not by authority, for victory dependent on authority is unreal and illusionary. Have no respect for the authority of others, for there's always contrarian authorities to be found. Do not use power to suppress opinions you think are harmful, for if you do, the opinions will suppress you. Do not fear to be eccentric in opinion, for every opinion now accepted was once eccentric. Find pleasure in intelligent dissent rather than passive agreement. For if you value intelligence, as you should, the former implies deeper agreement than the latter. Be scrupulously truthful, even if the truth is inconvenient, for it is more inconvenient when you try to conceal it. Do not feel envious of the happiness of those who live in a fool's paradise, for only a fool will think that that is actually happiness. Thank you.